Ever wondered how Cleopatra, the legendary queen of the Nile, managed to hold on to her throne against all odds? Welcome back, history adventurers, and hello to my fellow time travelers. I'm Prince Tut, and today we're embarking on an epic journey. Our destination? Ancient Egypt, 48 BC, our mission? To learn from one of the most brilliant strategic minds in history, the one and only Cleopatra. Now, many people think of Cleopatra as this lone, glamorous queen. But was she really on her own? Did she save her kingdom single-handedly? Or were there powerful allies who helped shape her destiny and the course of history itself? Let's fire up the time machine, set the coordinates for Alexandria, and find out the real story behind the Queen of the Nile. Get ready, because things are about to get legendary. Here we are, Alexandria, 48 BC. The air is thick with tension, spices, and political intrigue. Look around you, this isn't just a city. It's the chessboard of the ancient world. And at the center of it all is a young queen fighting for her very survival. Cleopatra's younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, has driven her from the throne. She's in exile, her kingdom is on the brink of civil war, and the mighty Roman Republic is knocking at the door. From the outside, it looks like a hopeless situation. She's outnumbered, outmaneuvered, and seemingly out of options. But Cleopatra isn't just any ruler. She's a master strategist, and she knows something crucial. In a game of power, you don't always have to hold all the cards yourself. Sometimes the key is to find the right partner. And just at that moment, the most powerful man in the world sails into Alexandria's harbor. His name is Gaius Julius Caesar. He's fresh from his victory over his rival Pompey, and he's here to settle the Egyptian dispute. Most people would see a foreign general arriving on their shores as a threat. But Cleopatra? She sees an opportunity. She knows she can't fight her brother's army and the Roman legions. So what does she do? She decides to win over the man in charge. This is where we get one of the most famous stories in history. Cleopatra can't just walk into the palace. Her brother's guards are everywhere. She needs a plan that's as bold as it is brilliant. And so she arranges to be smuggled into the palace, rolled up inside a carpet. Imagine Caesar's surprise when this beautiful, intelligent, and incredibly charismatic young woman is unrolled at his feet. She's not just making an entrance, she's making a statement. She's showing him she's resourceful, daring, and not afraid to take risks. She speaks to him in his own language. She's well-versed in politics, philosophy, and literature. She's not just a pretty face. She's his intellectual equal. Caesar, a genius in his own right, is captivated. He sees in her not a puppet, but a powerful potential ally. By forming this alliance, Cleopatra doesn't just get a supporter. She gets the backing of the entire Roman army. This alliance is a strategic masterpiece. For Caesar, siding with Cleopatra means securing Egypt's immense wealth, especially its grain supply, which is vital for feeding Rome. It also means establishing a stable, friendly ruler on Rome's eastern border. For Cleopatra, the alliance is her ticket back to the throne. Together, their forces defeat her brother Ptolemy XIII in the Battle of the Nile. Just like that, Cleopatra is reinstated as Queen of Egypt. She didn't win by raising a bigger army. She won by making the strongest player in the game her teammate. This is our first major lesson from her playbook. Identify the key power players and find a way to align your interests with theirs. Don't fight a battle you can't win. Change the game so you can't lose. But Cleopatra's story with Rome doesn't end with Caesar. After his assassination in 44 BC, the Roman world is thrown into chaos once again. A new set of powerful men emerge, and Cleopatra has to navigate this dangerous new landscape. One of those men is Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal general and a leading figure in the new Roman government. Antony now controls the eastern half of the Roman Empire, which includes the lands bordering Egypt. Once again, Cleopatra finds herself needing a powerful Roman ally to secure her throne and protect her kingdom's independence. She knows she needs to meet Antony, but this time she's not the desperate queen in exile. She's the established, wealthy ruler of Egypt. She's not coming in a carpet. She's arriving in style. In 41 BC, Antony summons Cleopatra to Tarsus in modern-day Turkey. He wants to question her loyalty and, let's be honest, get his hands on some of her money to fund his military campaigns. But Cleopatra flips the script. She doesn't go to him as a subordinate being summoned. Instead, she turns the meeting into an unforgettable spectacle. She sails up the river Kidnus on a magnificent golden barge with purple sails and silver oars. She herself is dressed as the goddess Venus. surrounded by attendants. The entire city empties out to witness this incredible sight, leaving Antony sitting alone in the marketplace. He invited her for a meeting, but she threw a party and made him the guest of honor. This move is pure strategic genius. She's not just impressing him. She's demonstrating her power, her wealth, and her divine status in a way that's impossible to ignore. She's showing him that she's not just another client queen. She's an equal partner, a goddess worthy of a god. The alliance that followed was not just political. It was personal and passionate. They became one of history's most famous couples. For Antony, this alliance gave him access to the endless resources of Egypt's ships, grain, and gold to fund his ambitions to rule the Roman world. For Cleopatra, it gave her a Roman protector who was deeply invested in her and her children's future. She even had him help her eliminate her rival sister, Arsinoe, securing her power once and for all. Through her alliance with Antony, Cleopatra expanded her kingdom. He returned territories to Egypt that had been lost for centuries. For a time, it seemed like her dream of a new, powerful Hellenistic empire, with Alexandria as its capital, was within reach. Her strategy evolved. With Caesar, it was about survival and restoration. With Antony, it was about expansion and ambition. This teaches us another key lesson: your strategy must adapt to your circumstances. When you're weak, you form alliances for security. When you're strong, you leverage those alliances to grow and achieve even greater goals. Cleopatra was a master of understanding her position and acting accordingly. Of course, we know how this story ends. The alliance between Cleopatra and Antony was seen as a major threat by Antony's rival in Rome, Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus. Octavian was a master of propaganda. He painted Cleopatra as a decadent foreign seductress who was corrupting a noble Roman general. He convinced the Roman Senate that Antony was handing over Roman territories to a foreign queen, and that their ultimate goal was to move the capital of the empire from Rome to Alexandria. This was a direct challenge to Roman identity and pride. He turned the political struggle into a cultural war, Rome versus Egypt, West versus East. The conflict culminated in the naval battle of Actium in 31 BC. Despite their combined forces, Antony and Cleopatra were decisively defeated by Octavian's fleet, led by the brilliant Admiral Agrippa. The reasons for their defeat are complex. Some say their fleet was too large and unwieldy. Others point to strategic blunders and defections. After the loss, they fled back to Egypt, but their cause was lost. Octavian pursued them, and facing certain capture, both Antony and Cleopatra chose to take their own lives rather than be paraded through the streets of Rome in disgrace. With their deaths, the Ptolemaic dynasty ended, and Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. So, what can we, as time-traveling strategists, learn from Cleopatra's incredible story? Even in defeat, her legacy is a testament to her brilliance. First, she taught us the power of strategic alliances. She understood that power isn't just about what you have, but who you have on your side. She expertly identified the key players, Caesar and Antony, and found ways to make herself indispensable to them. Second, she was a master of presentation and psychology. The carpet, the barge, these weren't just stunts. They were calculated moves to shape her image and influence the perceptions of those she needed to win over. She knew that in politics, perception is reality. Third, she was adaptable. Her strategy shifted from survival to expansion as her power grew. She wasn't afraid to change her approach to fit the situation. Her story is often framed as a tragedy, a tale of love and loss. But if we look at it through a strategic lens, it's a masterclass in diplomacy, political maneuvering, and sheer tenacity. She kept Egypt independent and prosperous for over 2 decades in a world dominated by Rome, a feat no other ruler in the region managed. She wasn't just a queen. She was a CEO, a general, and a master diplomat all rolled into one. She may have lost her final battle, but the strategies she employed have been studied by leaders for centuries. And that, my friends, is a victory that time cannot erase. What an incredible journey. From a carpet in a palace to a golden barge on a river. We've seen how Cleopatra used alliances to turn desperate situations into triumphant victories. She proved that you don't have to be the biggest or strongest force on the board to win. You just have to be the smartest. The alliances she built with Caesar and Antony weren't just romantic entanglements. They were the cornerstones of her entire foreign policy, the very moves that kept her kingdom alive. Thank you for joining me, Prince Tut. on this deep dive into the strategic mind of a true legend. What other historical figures should we visit next? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next trip through time. Until then, stay curious,